Hello, all, and welcome. In our last session, we spoke with Dr. Guido Minaya about the foundations of instructor delivery as part of the learning and development process. Today, we will focus on global instructor delivery and what are some of the trends and best practices. Stay tuned to learn more. Hello, Dr. Minaya. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Dario. It is a pleasure to be back talking with you about one of my favorite subjects, global instructor delivery.
Great. So let's continue with the conversation. What is global instructor delivery?
Yeah, great question. As you can imagine, companies doing business in two or more parts of the world, they need to consider how they'll develop their extended workforce. So let's say a company is based in the US and they have operations in Europe and Asia. And really there are three ways things are usually done. One is a centralized learning and development model, a decentralized model, and lastly, a hybrid of the two called a federated model. So in a centralized training model, the location where the company is based calls the shots with respect to training and development, which includes instructor delivery. And for companies where English is the required language, a larger share, if not all, of the instructors could be based out of the US and travel to Europe or Asia to deliver courses. And this, tends to work well for technical courses and courses that are called low context courses. Low context just means that courses where the processes, products, or services are relatively simple and consistent across all geographies, right? If English isn't the only language courses need to be taught in, then instructors with the right language skills can be brought in to teach. And ideally, the content is already translated. But in many cases, especially for those learners who are able to read English but not as comfortable speaking in English, in these cases, the instructors oftentimes do a real-time translation of the content for the learner audience. And as you can imagine, this requires an instructor that's very fluid with both English and the other language.
Yeah, I can imagine that takes expert language skills in English and the second language. Now, you mentioned the decentralized model. What does that look like when it comes to global instructor delivery?
Yes. For companies that have large workforces and customer bases in different parts of the world, a decentralized model is often used as well. And in this case, you have learning and development teams that instead of rolling up to a headquarters location somewhere in the world, they roll up to leaders in that specific geography. For example, the North America region would have its own team. Europe and Asia would have their own teams, which includes, instructors. In this way, instructors can provide more localized instruction, which takes into account language, customs, and culture. And this is especially important for, versus low context courses, high context courses, such as sales, communications, and leadership. And here, high context means that, if you're going to make a sales pitch and there's going to be some level of interaction, you better be precise with the kind of language you're using for that particular country, right? And that environment. The North American and European and Asian teams, they may collaborate on occasion, but for the most part, they're independent of each other. And instructors, as I mentioned, they not only live in the countries that they support, but they have a stronger relationship with subject matter experts and a better command of local customs, culture, and of course, language.
I could see how the decentralized model may make sense for companies that have lots of employees in key geographies. Are there other best practices used in either model?
Yeah, a good practice, especially for high volume courses where again there's a large workforce and you just have many sessions of not only a single course but all the courses. It's good to consider a master instructor or lead instructor role, and the role not only involves delivering courses to learners, but as importantly, it also includes coaching and mentoring other instructors. And this is especially important if a workforce in a geography or a region, let's say, just continues to grow. And that often means a lot more sessions, which means more full-time or contract instructors. So somebody has to get these new instructors up to speed, and in that ideally would fall in the hands of a master or lead instructor.
Yeah, I imagine having a master or lead instructor helps the company achieve more consistency in how a course is taught. Now, how does a federated model work with respect to global instructor delivery?
Yeah, that's let's say a newer trend in how
Mm,
multinational companies are structuring their learning and development teams. And just to give context, in this model, there are certain processes which are best done centrally by the headquarters learning and development team. And in some cases, this could be, let's say, the instructional design of courses, right? The core part of the courses. Or it could be the platform that learners use to register for upcoming courses, sessions. It could be virtual led courses, it could be traditional classroom courses, or even e-learning, how e-learning is accessed. So these types of processes and platforms can be managed and cared for centrally. Now, when it comes to global instructor delivery, that lens, you may have a global master instructor who works closely with the instructional design team, and the global instructor is then on point to train the other regional master instructors, right? And then the master instructors within a region have the responsibility of training the other local instructors within that region. And from an instructor delivery perspective, this model allows for greater consistency, where appropriate, but also has the flexibility to adapt it to culture, language, and local customs. And those differences are taken into account, and all with the aim of better supporting the learners and the customers in that particular region.
mm.
I hope this helped shed some light on global instructor delivery. There's a lot there, but yeah, glad at least we had that part of the discussion.
Definitely. Thank you, Dr. Minaya. Yeah, I'm sure the listeners, and now myself included, have a better understanding of the centralized, decentralized, and federated models in the context of global instructor delivery and the related best practices. Our next episode will focus on evaluating instructor delivery. Until next time.